Be sure to follow us on TikTok at MysticSage1 for daily anime content. As the founder and first master of the Fairy Tail Guild, Mavis is one of the most important characters in the fairy tale universe. There are many small details about her that give the overall story a lot of depth and meaning. But since Fairy Tail is pretty long, there might be some things we've forgotten. So today, I thought it would be fun to go over the tale of Mavis Vermillion and discuss some of the most intriguing points. I'll be covering everything I think you should know about her. There will be spoilers for the entire anime, especially the endgame, but I won't be looking too much at manga-specific stuff, just so you're aware. To start with, Mavis's history is itself very interesting, and we get a whole arc in the anime telling a prequel about how the Fairy Tail Guild was founded by her. It begins by showing us Mavis as a child. She loves reading, but has to work as a cleaner in the Red Lizard Guild on Tenro Island to pay off her parents' debt. She is bullied for her love of books and having dirty shoes, which explains why she's never seen with shoes on during the events of Fairy Tail itself. This guild, where Mavis works, is attacked, and she manages to escape. She also saves Zara, the guildmaster's daughter who bullied Mavis earlier. They become friends, and after a while, they return to the village to see it has been wiped out. After 7 years, Mavis now being 13 years old, a group of treasure hunters come to the island. Warrod, Precht, and Yuri Dreyer, who would later become Makarov's father. We see that Mavis and Zara have been living on the island by themselves. When the two groups come across each other, Yuri challenges Mavis to a game to settle whether the treasure hunters can take the sacred Tenro Jade. Through this game, we learn that Mavis is incredibly intelligent, thanks to being a devoted reader of the many books still on the island. The groups team up to go and find the Tenro Jade, which it turns out has been stolen anyway. Mavis reveals that she's able to use illusion magic, which she taught herself, and over the course of their adventure, she comes across Zareth. Since he can't touch a living thing without killing it, kind-hearted Mavis makes some animal illusions that are safe for him to interact with. He pays her back by teaching her and her fellow wizards some magic. They continue the search for the Jade, and we discover that Mavis is also an amazing strategist, earning her the nickname the Fairy Tactician. She alone comes up with the plan to liberate Magnolia from the evil guild we saw at the start of the arc. To sum up, she ends up using the spell Law, which she learned from Zareth, an incomplete magic that is supposed to stop evil in order to save Yuri's life. In the aftermath, Yuri reveals that Zara, who has been with Mavis the whole time, is an illusion that Mavis herself has created without her own knowledge. Zara verifies this by telling her that she died during the original attack on Red Lizard 7 years ago. Following this revelation, Zara starts to fade away, telling Mavis she has real friends now, so she'll be okay. The treasure hunters then agree to Mavis's plan to start a guild in Magnolia. Thus, Fairy Tail is born, with Mavis becoming its first master. It turns out that using Law in its incomplete state trapped Mavis's body in its current age, so she will look like a child for the rest of her life. When the new Fairy Tail Guild ends up taking part in a war, the baby-faced Mavis leads an army with her strategy skills, and they win. Later, she meets Zareth again, who suggests she hasn't actually stopped aging, but is instead immortal like him. She argues that she doesn't have the same curse since nobody has died around her. But as Zareth points out, she's been fighting in a war, which has damaged her sense of life and death. This is proven when Makarov is born, because Mavis chooses his name, and her joy at his birth kills his mother. Mavis is horrified at herself, and she runs away to live alone again so that she can't kill anyone. Now aged about 24, she ends up once again with Zareth. Sharing their solitude, the two fall in love. But the kiss they share takes Mavis's life, since Zareth's love for her activates his curse. This moment is important for Zareth's story as it begins his decline into pure evil, and also shows Mavis as the pure good of the series in contrast. Since Mavis was supposed to be immortal, it shows the sheer power of the evil caused by Zareth's curse. Well, as it turns out, Mavis is not fully dead due to her own curse, and she ends up giving birth to her son, August. This has been a point of confusion for fans for a long time, because Mavis got sealed in a lacrima under the guild in a half-dead state before August was born. There's also not really time for him to have been conceived, although it's theorized that the kiss was a metaphorical kiss, with Mavis's death happening at the moment of conception. This prequel arc tells us so much about Mavis, and sets the stage for further reveals later in the story. We now know that she was a sweet and gentle child, caring about others and showing deep compassion. The origin of her now famous tactical skills is given to us, and we see her being a ruthless leader in the defense of Magnolia. Living on the island with Zera turns out to be her surviving alone, showing her determination and resilience. Her encounter with Zeref explains her curse, as well as setting up her relationship with him, which turns out to be pretty important by the end of the series, especially when it comes to the reveal of August as their son. During the present-day events of Fairy Tail, Mavis gives herself an astral projection form to protect her guild from an attack by Acnologia, which causes the 7-year time skip on Tenro Island. Later, she removes her protective barrier from the island. Seeing that Fairy Tail has become such a strong guild, with all the guild members treating each other like family, she's like a proud mother. She then makes it possible for only members of the guild to see her projected form. Throughout the later part of the show, Mavis helps the guild with their tactical skills, and gives context and history for Zeref's invasion of the land. Her body is also revealed to be Lumen Histoire, holding the power of Fairy Heart. Only Makarov is supposed to know about this as the current guildmaster. However, Mavis had chosen Precht to be the next guildmaster after herself, and that turned out to be a mistake, because he later became Hades of the Dark Guild Grimoire Heart. He told Zeref about the power of Fairy Heart, and Zeref wants to use it to defeat Acnologia. Ultimately though, Fairy Tail managed to achieve victory, and poor Mavis dies for good in Zeref's arms along with the evil wizard himself. That pretty much sums up her story, which is honestly a bit of an emotional rollercoaster. From being a poor child forced to pay off her parents' debt, to becoming the founder of one of the strongest guilds in the world. Plus her Romeo and Juliet romance with Zeref that had all of us rooting for them up to their eventual mutual destruction. Even the writer of Fairy Tail, Hiro Mashima, said that Mavis as a character defied his expectations by going on to become one of the most popular characters of the series. Her story spreads across centuries, as she goes from a sweet and loving child to a cold and merciless leader. It's easy to follow how she developed into the revered guildmaster of the present day, giving the whole show a history and depth it otherwise wouldn't have had. It's interesting for us as an audience for her to be depicted as a cute young child as well, since it clashes with her personality as we first meet her. We expect the founder of the guild to be a wise and powerful old man like Makarov, so for her to show up as a little girl is a surprise. This is deliberate though. Mashima wanted her to have that effect on us when he was designing her. Although she was going to be that wise old man type of character before Mashima realized Mavis was a girl's name. Mavis's design reveals even more about her personality. For example, her golden long hair reflecting her golden heart. Her eyes not showing reflections positions her as being different from the others as well. This feature often shows up when someone is mind controlled, depressed, or otherwise in a changed state from their usual persona. So Mavis having flat color in her eyes makes her stand out, and hints at both her immortality and her curse even before they happen. It also gives her a stern look, showing her intelligence, and the fact that she has to be cold to her guild members to protect them from her curse. But her sweet and youthful appearance reminds us of her innocent origins, the love she still has for her guild, and the purity of her feelings for Zeref. Well, that's everything you should know about Mavis. Her story and character are one of my favorite things about Fairy Tail, and I think they're really well developed. The ending of Fairy Tail isn't considered one of the best in anime, but Mavis getting a bittersweet ending with the love of her life makes me glad I watched through the whole show, because it was such a beautiful way to finish up her part of the story. What do you think though? Are you as much of a fan of Mavis as I am? And what's your favorite part of her story? Let me know in the comments. Before the video closes out, I just want to thank you so much for your support during this month of July. I'm uploading every day, and with all the different anime I'm covering, I know there's a little bit for everyone. Also, if you want a little more Mystic Sage, head on over to TikTok and check us out over there for more fun, bite-sized anime videos. I've also got an Amazon store where I sell tons of Pokemon and anime merch too, so check it out. For real this time though, thanks again for watching. I'm Mystic Sage, and I'll see you tomorrow with more amazing anime content.